So the overall market condition was actually pretty choppy today, both with the large caps, with the SPY, and as well as the small caps such as coronavirus stocks. It was all pretty choppy in the beginning and volume was kind of thin and we couldn't really pick a direction until a lot later on. So the first one I was watching to play was SPCE after this overnight gap up from the close about 24.50s on Friday. And it sold off right at the open, right? Profit taking after the over the weekend gap up, so that was fine. But I was loaning the dips. I was looking for a lot more upside actually. But with SPY chopping around, and this stock was actually just wasn't as you can see all the wicks here, we can't really pick a direction. So after I sold the initial entry, I tried to come back a little bit more, just scaling in out, and at the end it didn't really work. So I definitely gave back some, and especially after I'm still recovering from my loss from last Thursday, playing a lot smaller just to start the week, especially with a low volume choppy day like this. So that's the first trade on the day. The other one, it was small trade, just a scalp trade, was MRNA. This was probably the only coronavirus stock that has a clear direction, right? We held the previous day close from Friday and then we just kind of ripped. And also WHO was having a conference call, and this stock was also kind of moving into the conference call. Afterwards, I didn't trade it because this stock tend to be kind of choppy last week as well. So just a tiny little scalp, but it was kind of, chopping around, breaking down VWAP for a while, but I wasn't part of that later on. The biggest winner on the day was APDN. This is a stock I've traded so many times before on the short side. The idea was to just short the rips at the open towards $6.80, $7, which is what we got. And that's why I shorted right here. And then over here is where I added and I covered. I wish I had this cover around low $5. I think I had it down here around $5. We never hit it. So that would have been a nice cover. But instead, I added here. I should have added here more. Of course, hindsight is 2020. But I only had a small piece left after this ad. So I was just covering into the dips. And it was starting to hold, and that's why I took it off. And it just kind of sold off into the close without me. So looking back at this chart on INO, stopping out never felt so good. So actually, I was short this stock, risking this around 540s, 530s. You can see this is where I repeatedly shorted the pops and covering into the dips. So I went back and forth into this trade. Overall was a win, but I definitely gave back a lot because I was thinking we're gonna gap fill all the way down. After $5 breaks here, this is where I started sizing in, added even bigger. But when it starts holding, this is why I started to bail. And at the end, I had like a tiny piece just because, I left it alone just to want to let it work. Because the stock was extremely algo driven, every single time it breaks down $5, just keeps on getting propped up. But again, at the same time, every time it reaches around this 525, 530s level, huge sellers came in to sell. So that's why the stock was really range bound from $5 to 530 throughout the entire day. I did short a lot in the morning, but then I was all out by this point and just had a tiny piece just for the what if, right? And near the end of the day, things are starting to slow down and just took it off. So this is one of those times where I'm so happy I followed my rules. It's times like this where you see, oh my God, thank God I followed my rules and I wasn't stubborn and I didn't just leave the trade out for the what if. Oh, what if it breaks down all the way to 440? I would have made a lot of money. Yeah, but what if it does this, right? So overall, I'm very happy with this trade. I didn't make the most money I could have just because I kept on going back and trying to short it down. But overall, I'm very happy with this, especially on the last scaling out here. But just trading according to my plan, right? The other one that was a nice long trade was MITO. And I'm sure this one caught a lot of people by surprise because we were breaking down already pre-market. And this $3 level was the key level I was watching. After it broke down, I kind of just had it on the side and I didn't really watch it. But this reclaim, if you go on the 1 minute or the 3 minute chart, this reclaim around, I guess, almost 10 o'clock level, this volume squeeze is my signal to go long. Because look at this volume. This is not just a short squeezing out, this is also buyers coming in. So that's why I longed. You guys remember I longed a lot of these momentum trades in the past with a volume squeeze. Volume is almost always like my number one indicator to go long or short. Volume analysis is really important. I longed here, scaling out, and then I was trying to go back for more because the stock was really strong, at least on the front side. You can see I went back a couple more times and then I just didn't get to sell. I was a little bit overly patient with my entries here. I was thinking we're gonna get this move early on right here. You can see I missed a sell up here, 550s. I was hoping to sell up there and sell all the way to $5. Didn't get to that point. And this is where things were starting to get choppy and staying heavy, and I actually got out of the position. And of course, missed the squeeze right here. But you can only take the meat of the move, and you have to always protect your downside. And this stock, after the squeeze, just kind of chopped down and grinding down. So just very happy to take a part in this meat of the move, both on the long trade today on MITO and also INO on the short side. So had a really nice day trading one ticker and one ticker only, and that stock was INO. So this one was actually one I was shorting yesterday, as you may remember. I was shorting yesterday around the 530s area and covering into $5. We had a nice overnight gap up, but still, I want to be careful with this, right? I don't want to get burnt. So I was actually short early on, and I cut my small side short really quickly. It's okay to be wrong, but I want to be wrong small, right? I don't want another one of those CODX trades where yes, I cut my loss according to the plan, but the sizing was should have been a lot smaller. So I short early, and I actually cut it for a loser and flip long. So I actually was long after the short here. I was long over here, up here. And it's only once that we broke down this $9 area, and there was a lot of selling up here. This is where you see all the wicks from $9 to 930s. We just had a lot of trouble pushing. And you can see this pre-market high was a hard rejection on INO. And that's where we saw a lot of selling in the high $9 area. And this is where I joined them short. After $9 breaks down, this is where I flipped short. So this is where we get a nice sell-off from 880s all the way down to 760s. So I short and covering into the dips here. But I don't want to outstay my welcome. Again, we had a huge gap up. The stock was easy to borrow, and it's a higher institutional ownership, and there's definitely a lot of players in this one. So I didn't think they were gonna let it fail that quick. It would have been nice if they did, which is why I went back and scaled in short just to see if we stay heavy, and we didn't. So that's why I covered. I went back a little bit, trying a little bit more just to see, if we're gonna reject this VWAP area that I stopped out. I went back a few more times right here, and for smaller size, that's where I took a loss. I decided, it's not ready to completely flush down. You can see even after we closed week, we still got bought up after hours. So I don't want to stay in too short biased on this. We could potentially see another day, but the whole reason I was short biased on the front side and then later on once we reject $9 area is because we recognize that there's a lot of selling in this, but they're at the same time doing a very good job propping this one up. There's a lot of players in this. If you read the SEC filings, you might know why I was a little bit more short biased on this today and yesterday. But just because they could do an offering doesn't mean they're gonna do it right away. We just kind of need to have that at the back of your mind and just know that it could happen, but you need the technical to set up for it. Again, you don't want to be fundamentally right, but technically wrong. So had a really nice day in this, both long and short, but let's see what tomorrow brings. So I think I'm having some issues with DAS connecting to my broker right now. All my executions are gone, but I have some of the charts saved from this morning. So CODX, I'm basically just buying the dip buy level around 1350s area. And then I think I got in right here, this is around 1350, and then added after the volume breakout and sold into the push towards $15. And I was aiming for high 15 around this pre-market high area, as you can see over here. So I got a support level and selling into the rip. I didn't sell at the top though. I think I got out around $15 and then somewhere around here 1530s, and I got stopped out over here. With this stock, because of the daily chart, there's so many back holders, I wasn't gonna hold it for an all-day move. I think I expected every single push to be met with a lot of selling, a lot of rejection. This because this stock is on the backside of the move now. So that's why I was pretty nimble. I did add some, but I wasn't confident that it'll give us an all-day move. As you can see, we rejected VWAP over here and just kind of grinded here and never retested the $16 highs. So that's a little nice winner on the day, taking advantage of the coronavirus momentum. The other one is one that I've been trading the last few days, and I'm very familiar with this stock by now. This stock, I'm just gonna say it's extremely difficult to trade because every single rip is met with a lot of selling on tape. Every time it tries to push to that $9 area, there's so much selling. But at the same time, every single dip, like yesterday when we saw when it dipped to 750s, that's where I was covering into my short because a lot of people were coming in to buy the stock. So today I just want to be nimble and scalp this one. INO, you can see I was up here around this area, 890s, using the $9 resistance as my risk because after this initial squeeze, I thought that was just shorts covering, and we really need real buyers coming in to buy to move higher, which we have right now. But at the time that I was seeing a lot of selling again around that $9 area, that's why I scaled in short, and I was all done covering by this point. I wasn't gonna hold for an all-day move down to the downside because of how trappy the stock was yesterday and the day before. This is my loser on the day, MRVL, MRVL. You can see the stock, after stopping me out over here, just moved up higher. But it's okay to lose, but you want to lose small. So with this one, I had a small add here, but overall the loss was manageable and pretty small. SDC was just a small winner. I never added, as you can see. Actually, because the volume was so thin, I sold out around 870 area, SDC 880 area, and then it went higher to $9, but I didn't hold that long, and also it just got sold off after that push there. And this is the execution on CANF. I never got a full fill on this because I was hoping for a pop to 240s and 250s, and I never got filled. So just a tiny short scalp from 220s and added somewhere 210s and covering into 190. So only about 20-30 cents, not much really worth talking about. So today is definitely one of those days where a lot of small gains added up. There wasn't any crazy play. Momentum on a lot of this coronavirus stocks is kind of dying out right now. So that's why I wasn't seeing anything I love for a huge move. But on days like this is where, we have to be pretty nimble, especially with sector hype kind of dying down now. All the pushes are met with a lot of selling, and especially with the NNVC after hours run. So hopefully that'll bring us some more fireworks tomorrow. It's Friday tomorrow, so not gonna push my luck, just gonna take my singles and call it a week.